We continue our conversation about the opioid crisis in America. I recently sat down with the first U.S. drug czar. Bill Bennett, the first director of the Office of National Drug Control Policy, now chairman, Americans for Responsible Drug Policy. Welcome back to the program.
Thanks, Lauren.
Thank you so much for talking about this just devastating issue. Why are you involved in this new group? Tell me about the group.
Well, I guess a little bit of history. I was the first drug czar or director of National Drug Control Policy, so I have a great interest in it for historic reasons. Second, we did some good. By we, I mean the whole country. But federal effort was significant in this regard and got the numbers of drug users down considerably during the 80s, going into the 90s. Now we have this opioid problem, which dwarfs the cocaine problem and the crack problem that we saw in the 80s, and it has to be addressed. This is a serious epidemic. My friend John Walters says maybe the most important, consequential, largest criminal enterprise in the history of the United States. Right now, the sale, importation, sale of fentanyl, carfentanil, heroin, and the like.
U.S. bishops have been speaking out about the opioid epidemic. In a pastoral letter, Bishop Edward Malasek, he's of Greensburg, Pennsylvania, wrote, "We can either sink down into despair or rise up in hope." There were 300 opioid-related deaths in his diocese in 1 year.
Yeah.
What does the church need to do?
Well, you know, that's exactly right. It was Jim Wilson, James Q. Wilson, the great scholar at Harvard and then later at UCLA, who wrote that drug use is wrong because it's immoral, and it's immoral because it destroys the mind and enslaves the soul. And that last word, the soul, is the jurisdiction of the church. That's the last time I looked. So the bishop should be talking about it, and that's what it does. I remember being struck, Lauren, when I was drug czar, going around the country. I went to 130 communities, talking to people, what's crack like? How many times people used spiritual, religious language to describe it?
To describe the
Crack,
drug?
Crack is the devil. It tempts you like the devil does and says, I have a great deal for you. Something's good, something great. It'll make you feel like you've never felt before, and that's all true. You'll never have that feeling again, though. All you got to do is fork over your money or your soul, or both. So I think that is the right language. Now, you can't use that language everywhere in American society today, though. You know, it's just not respectable.
People don't want to hear it as we become a more secularized nation.
Right, enslave your soul. What do you mean? Well, how about it wrecks your life? There's a
okay.
There's a picture going around, and it's a picture of children in car seats in the back seat of a car, and in the front seat are two adults passed out with their heads thrown back, one man, one woman, and they have just overdosed. Or maybe not overdosed, just regularly dosed, and are passed out. Foster care in some parts of Ohio, West Virginia, New Hampshire is being overwhelmed because children are losing their parents to this stuff.
So what does the message have to be to young adults, to children, to get them to understand the danger of drugs and addiction? So what you're saying is get them before they start down this path.
Absolutely, because recovery is very difficult. Success in treatment is very difficult. Use the language that your audience will understand. Don't do this, whether you want to talk spiritual language, material success language, success in life, being able to cope, manage, enjoy anything else. This interferes with everything, your work, your ability to relate to people, friendships, even intimacy is deeply affected by this. You have something you can say. But in a part of the psyche of a lot of people in this country who say, well, if you like it, who are you to tell me?
Just do it. And the legalization of marijuana
not helpful.
Is not helpful. Why?
Because certainly not everybody who uses marijuana goes on to other drugs. But people who get into this stuff, who get into fentanyl, who get into heroin, almost all started with marijuana.
Why is this issue so important to Bill Bennett?
I was the first drug czar. It matters to me. I had a series of meetings with experts, and the more I heard about crack and what it was doing to our communities, I thought, man, we are pouring all this money into our inner cities for health and education and welfare. Meantime, this stuff is coming in and devastating families. Look, America is about success, and it's about success in the hands of individuals. And if you want to take their capacities away, this is about the most effective way to end self-government.
Bill Bennett, Chairman of Americans for Responsible Drug Policy, former drug czar. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.